Children these days want to be raised very differently to the way their parents were raised, whereas the parents want to raise children the way they were raised. So that really results in a conflict. Also, this generation, with the access that they have to technology, gadgets, numerous extracurricular activities, and also the academic pressure, have very little time to communicate with their parents, and so this barrier continues to grow. So how can one actually break this barrier? How can one actually communicate with one's children better is really what the crux of this book is. So while one can talk to children, but then they don't really have the time for you. One can ask them to read books, but that's easier said than done, because data from England, for example, shows that 30% of children at best read, and 17% of children are actually embarrassed if their friends see them reading. One can talk to them about one's own experience, but then as we know, that turns out to be a sermon, and we should perhaps remember what Charles Wordsworth had said. By the time a man realizes that maybe his father was right, he usually has a son who thinks he's wrong. So what I've tried to describe in this book, based on my experience as a parent and as a pediatrician for 20 years, is how one can actually try and build a relationship, build a bond, and I've shared through anecdotes, through lots of stories, through examples, how one can actually try and understand how a young person's mind works. And I've given examples, for example, with our son, when he wanted to buy an iPhone, I thought it would be a great opportunity really to talk about the highs and lows of Steve Jobs' life and determination. Or when we were seeing the Soccer World Cup inauguration in South Africa, it was a great opportunity really to talk about forgiveness and Nelson Mandela, because there can't really be a better example than that. And so this is what this book is about. It's about 18 values, it's about 50 do's and don'ts, and I've tried to share a little bit of personal experience, but not too much, because I was reminded of what Mark Twain had said. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant, I could hardly stand to have the old man around. By the time I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learnt in 7 years. So this book is dedicated to all the children I've had the privilege of looking after over 20 years, and I hope that it's of benefit to both parents and children. Thank you.
Charan and I are we love kids a lot. That's number one. Number two is we are perfectionists, and we want to be really careful before taking the step. So I want to read through everything, and I thank Dr. Sibal for writing this book before we had kids, so now we can bring up our kids really well. My inspiration is my sister-in-law Sushmita, who's an amazing mom. I give it to her. She's like one of the best moms ever, and she's the best homemaker. And Charan, thank you for having such an amazing sister, so then we can learn from her. And also my cousin Sinduri. She heads the Apollo Hospitals operations in Chennai and the whole region, and she has a 2-year-old kid, and she's able to do an amazing job with work-life balance, her home and the kid, and it's just amazing. So I use her as a benchmark when I have my children. But things are so different from the time I was a child and to now. Dad wouldn't allow boys to call us, or we didn't even have a cell phone till we finished school. That's like till the 10th or 12th, and then after that I was exposed to America, so it was that bad. So anyways, it was a great experience also, but I was wondering, will my kids have the same experiences I did, or will it be different? Today kids have kids younger than me, even babies have social media accounts, so the world is changing. I mean, moms, from the time they conceive to their bumps showing to everything, is out there for everyone. So these kids are born stars before they even come onto this planet. It's amazing how the world is changing. So my dad's thing of not letting any boys talk to us or come call home and all that doesn't work anymore. So I guess there's a lot to read about how to bring up kids today, and I really want to talk about children's health, because I've seen a lot of kids today are chubby when they graduate, and your weight, your looks, all that is becoming so important. So I feel that every parent should look into their kids' health get them vaccinated, get them right, get them in the body shape that's good for them, because this world is not so nice anymore, where we can accept everyone. Counsel them correctly, tell them what it is, and be truthful with your kids. Previously it used to be like spare the rod, spoil the child. That's it. Yeah. So now, if anyone hits their kid, the kid will turn around and say, "I'll call the cops on you." It's that bad. But anyways, obviously none of us want to hit our kids or do anything like that. I think it's very nice for parents to become friends with their kids, and I'm seeing it, I'm learning it, I'm trying to absorb as much as possible before we have kids, and we do extensive reading and research, and I know so many couples that have gone abroad to take classes even before they had kids. And it's so important to be aware of what you're getting into. There's someone else you're bringing into this planet, there's someone else you're bringing into this world, and you need to do justice, and it needs to be the correct time. And after they come in, everything. So I was with Deepak Chopra a few months ago, and he was telling me that you can change the genetics of the child when the child is in your womb. And I was like, wow, if we have the power to do so much, it's just amazing. So anyways, thank you, Dr. Sibal, and thank you all. I think you really need to concentrate on your kids.